Good morning, Fullness family. Get to share with you a short devotion this morning, and I'm going to actually share just a few of the same thoughts that I shared this past weekend at our Fullness Men's Retreat. We had a great time as several of the Fullness guys got to go down to Utah, Alabama, and just get away and connect with the Lord and bless each other. And I think every guy that went was touched and encouraged. I know I was. But I got to share in one of the sessions from Psalm 139. And so that's what I'm going to share for just a few minutes here with you. I think it's easy during this season of life where we're in many ways confined to our homes a little bit more than what we normally would be, to feel sometimes like we are unseen, to feel like we are just hidden and people just don't really see us. They don't really know what's going on in our lives, what we're going through, what we're feeling, and to just kind of feel disconnected. But Psalm 139 really speaks to that, of how much the Lord knows us and sees us. So I'm just going to read this psalm and just offer a few thoughts as I read it. So it's obviously written by David, and he basically starts off the first few verses of Psalm 139 making the point that God knows me better than anyone else. But not only does God know me better than anyone else, he knows me better than I even know myself. So he says, David writes, he says, "O Lord, you have searched me and known me. You know when I sit down and when I rise up. You discern my thoughts from afar. You search out my path and my lying down and are acquainted with all my ways. Even before a word is on my tongue, behold, O Lord, you know it altogether. You hem me in behind and before, and lay your hand upon me. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me. It is high. I cannot attain it." And then David basically goes on to write, to make the point in the next few verses, that I can do nothing that God does not see completely. And that may feel a little bit scary to know that I can do nothing, say nothing that God does not see. But really in this psalm, that's meant to be a comfort and an encouragement that God sees me, God knows me. And so David writes, verses 7 through 12, he says, "Where shall I go from your spirit? Or where shall I flee from your presence? If I ascend to heaven, you are there. If I make my bed in Sheol, you are there. If I take the wings of the morning and dwell in the uttermost parts of the sea, even there your hand shall lead me, and your right hand shall hold me. If I say, surely the darkness shall cover me, and the light about me be night, even the darkness is not dark to you. For the night is bright as the day, for darkness is as light with you." And then David goes on in the next few verses and makes the point, I think, that even though sometimes it can feel like my life just feels purposeless and sort of meaningless as I get lost in the day-to-day things that I'm trying to do, I think David is basically saying my life is not random, but God has a purpose and a plan for my life, and God has designed me the way that I am. So he says this, verses 13 through 16, "For you formed my inward parts. You knitted me together in my mother's womb. I praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Wonderful are your works. My soul knows it very well. My frame was not hidden from you when I was being made in secret, intricately woven in the depths of the earth. Your eyes saw my unformed substance. In your book were written, every one of them, the days that were formed for me, when as yet there was none of them." And then David goes on, and I think he's basically making the point that when I have this knowledge that God knows me, that God sees me, that can lead me to love God and to hate the sin around me that I see. So David says in verses 17 through 22, he says, "How precious to me are your thoughts, O God. How vast is the sum of them. If I were to count them, they are more than the sand. I awake, and I am still with you. Oh, that you would slay the wicked, O God. O men of blood, depart from me. They speak against you with malicious intent. Your enemies take your name in vain. Do I not hate those who hate you, O Lord? Do I not loathe those who rise up against you? I hate them with complete hatred. I count them my enemies. And then David closes out the psalm basically with the same kind of thoughts that he starts it with. He kind of starts and ends the psalm with this idea of God searching me and knowing me. And I think he's kind of making the point that there's safety and transparency in being honest and open before the Lord. When I know that God has already searched me and known me, then I can pray that God search me and know me. So he ends like this. He says, "Search me, O God, and know my heart. Try me and know my thoughts. See if there be any grievous way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting." So be encouraged today. No matter where you are, be encouraged to know that God sees you, God knows you, God has a plan for your life, and he is working it out to completion. Bless you.